Food for Thought with Professor David Ndete.
A very good morning to you. It's time for Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. Schizophrenia, that's what we've been talking about, and the information is unbelievable. One of the things I truly appreciate about what Professor has been talking to us is that our base of information determines how we interpret certain things. You know, if we come from a superstitious kind of background, if we come from a spiritual kind of background, from a medical kind of background, we have different ways of explaining things. And one of the things I love about what he says is that, you know what? Don't dismiss people. Listen to what people are saying. So we are back at schizophrenia because we didn't quite finish talking about it. Let's join into the conversation. You mentioned earlier, Professor, that you know, this can be managed at home. What goes into managing this condition at home? What is required?
Well, I think there are very many things. As I said, the patient, the relatives are the most important, and you need cooperation. You need to tell them at the beginning it's going to be a little bit difficult because of the patients do not know that they are sick.
Yeah.
They will not take their medication. But there are some medications that we can give these days, which are extremely maybe not the right one, but which are very effective. You can give medicine, even a patient who is very, very disturbed. You can give certain types of medicine and you can tell them, go home with your patient. Just remember, between 36 to 72 hours, this patient will be calm, you'll be sleeping well, you'll be eating well, you'll take himself to the toilet, and just go and watch over that. And then during that time, you start some other medicine now that are going to have long-term effect on that patient. And by the time they go through the first 3 days, the other medicines has taken effect, and there's nothing more satisfying. Your own patient improving in home environment. You don't have to go to hostel. You don't have to pay expensive hostel bills. And for companies, you don't have to spend a lot of money paying expensive hospitalization.
Okay. I'm just wondering about the medication. Is it affordable? Is it expensive?
It's affordable. It's very, very affordable.
Okay.
It's very affordable. And thanks to the generics. Generics have come, they are affordable. As a matter of fact, some of the research that is coming from centers in the world, that's where they have these facilities, we don't have these facilities. Manage these conditions with the very few types of medicine. You ask a very important question. Yes, they are affordable.
Okay. So with this condition, is it curable or will they have to manage it for the rest of their life?
That's a very good question. And remember when I said, when Henry Kraepelin was talking on 30th of September 1898, he actually said, and that time, they didn't have medicines. The first time we had medicine for psychiatric condition, and let's talk about schizophrenia in particular, was in 1952 when two French psychiatrists, Delay and Denick, presented this. That meeting where I was, where this person was being congratulated, that time was there, is now passed on. Very old man, that all the time, extremely humble. Anyway, him and Delay and Denick, in 1952, they introduced a medicine called cropomazine. They sometimes call it Langactio. Now we come a long way, and we are very effective medicine, even as we begin to understand the functioning of the brain. So, and of course, you see what happens is that when they invent a new medicine, they patent it for a long, long time, for some time, and when the patents runs out, every big company is just going to produce this medicine in a very, very cheap way. Remember, and I don't want to mention a particular medicine. The cost of the medicine is not a necessary indication of its effectiveness.
Yes.
You go to, and I have been to some of these places where they manufacture this medicine. You have one line using, say, a certain capsule. And then when it comes, at a particular point, there's one lot is diverted this way, and they give it a brand name. It goes to a very rich country, and the cost is very many times more expensive. Another one diverts the same capsules to another line, which is branded in a particular way, and is very affordable.
Wow.
So it's not the cost of the medicine that is effective. And I'm so glad some of my colleagues in general medicine, they tell me the same things. So people should not just go for an expensive medicine to make it. One of the things I tell people, if I prescribe a medicine, depending on whether they can afford, because you don't want a situation where you prescribe a medicine. Listen to me very carefully.
Yeah.
You don't want a situation where you prescribe an expensive medicine because a drug company has told you this is the most effective. And when you prescribe this medicine, the family believes that you have to take this particular kind of brand.
Yeah.
And because the doctor has said so, you go and sell your resources to buy this medicine. People may lose, children may not have food, may not have managed to go to school and things like that. So look for a good, effective brand name, which is affordable.
Okay, very true. Finally, Professor, what do you think the government needs to do to create awareness and also to help manage this kind of mental disorders?
I think awareness. I think the system is going around, being spread around that there's a lot of stigma towards mental illness.
Yeah.
That is very true. But stigma, and we have demonstrated here in Kenya, this work is going on outside Kenya, that the problem is what we have been discussing.
Yes.
People don't understand these problems. People, if you sit down and explain, they understand that this is a medical condition like another medical condition. But you got to have the time to sit down with the people, explain to them, give them an opportunity to ask questions. If you don't have the time, that's where the problem is. And I say, go and do, I'm the doctor, go and do whatever I've told you, and I don't want questions. It's better to find the time. And more often than not, I don't know, the clinics are very heavy, you are under pressure to finish the clinic in time, but if we create that kind of time at once.
Okay.
And by the way, don't underestimate them because they are their level of education. They never want food, but you can explain this in a very simple language.
Yes.
A language that they understand, and they are keen to understand. And the moment they understand, then the so-called stigma vanishes. If they understand that a person can be hearing voices when there are no people around and they should not be called mad, it's because they have a medical condition, they understand. And then the stigma disappears.
Wow, I like that. Finally, Professor, is there a way that the medical fraternity and the church can work together to create awareness about some of these issues? Because sometimes I find that we are on two opposing ends and it doesn't help the people who need the help that they are seeking for.
Remember I said, listen, don't criticize.
Yeah.
Whether you are dealing with a witch doctor, whether you are dealing with people, or whether you are dealing with a person with a pastor. You know, there are four very important things about our mental illness. We talk about our biology, we are talking about genetics, we are talking about our psychological makeup,
yeah,
talking about our social environment, and we are talking about spirituality. Those are very important. Spirituality, knowing that there is somebody high up there, and these are not my own ideas. I know there's a lot of that's being done at Duke University in the United States. They have shown repeatedly, and the UK, especially in Scotland, they have shown repeatedly that your level of spirituality, knowing that there is a higher being out there, affects your immunity in a positive way.
Wow.
That immunity, if it's affected, if it is influenced in a positive way, it will help you to cope with very many things, with hypertension, with diabetes, with all kinds of things. So, listen, we should all work together.
Yeah.
I am telling you, if we take that kind of approach, we will go many, many miles within a very short time.
Yes.
I've been talking about families. Families, some of them never went to school. They don't have resources. They don't have medical knowledge. But get them involved, and you see the positive effect that happens. So we should all be working together. And also, and when we start working with that, when we start talking, you know, the amazing thing was there was an element of complementing one another. If somebody comes to me, as a pastor, I can talk to them. Why did you? We'll continue praying, but why did you also take medicine? The medicine that you are given at the hospital, at the health center, is also very important.
Yeah.
That when us will talk about that, because whether we like it or not, they go to those people, and we don't tell them not to go there. So we should all be talking, and once we start talking the same language, with the resource that we already have in this country, we can go miles upon miles.
Wow. Professor Ndete, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for the very important information that you have given us. We truly appreciate these sessions because we are getting more and more knowledgeable on matters mental health. That way then we are able to kill some of this stigma associated with mental health issues and also help those in our midst who need all the help that they can get. So asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. That has been Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. I pray that this information that we are giving you, you're putting it to use. Let's work together, as Professor has said, so that we can be able to help the people that need the help. Remember, as I keep telling you, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Our mental health is very important. Have a great day.